Hey there, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Violet Vixen. Today, I was going to start this last night, but too tired. I am making country pork pie, which is a little bit of a delicacy sort of thing. One of those things that when you're walking through the deli, you'll see this fancy looking pie, and inside is like this pork filling. And I thought, I'm going to give this one a try. I haven't had one of these for years. There's sort of an English tradition, and one will possibly pop up one day in my list of English recipes to write down and try out. So I'm doing this one from my recipe book, including making the pastry. However, it is a very time-consuming recipe, but don't be scared off by it. The good thing about things like this is you can do it on a day when you can do something, then you can go away, then you can come back, and so on and so on. So here's what we need. We're doing a thing called a boiled pastry, which is here. This is to make the pie. This is the filling. Now the filling we don't even cook because it's going in the oven for 1.5 to 2 hours. So that's done on its own. And then when it's done, you put this stuff together and you squeeze it in, and then you freezer it, and then you get like this jelly crust around everything inside this pie crust. So it's really quite fancy, and if mine looks as good as the one in the picture, I'll be very happy. So I'm going to start on the filling, and then I'm going to make the pastry, and then that's probably where I'm going to leave it at the ready to go in the oven stage, because I don't have 1.5 hours. Not now anyway, later. So let's go. So my whole idea with this recipe yesterday, and this is no word of a lie, was I got home from appointments with Mum yesterday, and it was very draining, and I had dinner, then I went and had a nap, and I was going to get up at 9 o'clock last night and start it. Somehow I just decided I'd stuff it, so that's why I'm doing this today. Okay, so what we're going to do is just grab a jug or a bowl of some description, and we're just going to chuck all the filling ingredients in here and mix them up. So for the pork sausage meat, you just get pork sausages, and if you actually, sounds sort of gross, but if you just squeeze them, you're going to get your pork mince out of your sausage casings. That's what we want. You don't want pork mince, because pork mince is not going to give you that that little bit of fat content that comes in with the sausages, and you might as well be making a stir fry than use pork sausage mince. So that's a no-no. Okay. So I've got 3 here. I asked for 225 grams, so I haven't weighed them. I think my butcher should know what he's doing, hopefully. Okay. Then the next thing I needed, which I could not get, is gammon. So gammon is obviously similar to bacon, or ham I should say, but it's the uncooked ham, or uncooked version of it, so couldn't get that. So what I'd done, I had a backup plan anyway, which was just basically the shaved ham that you get in Aldi. It's probably going to taste a whole lot different with gammon, so if you can get gammon, go for it. If you can't, well then you're with me, we're just using shaved ham. So try and get the better ham if there's such thing. I just got this one shaved off the bone, and I'm just going to quickly try and chop that up before I use it. So in between we put in our chopped onion. So we're just going to quickly chop this ham up. Actually, because I had the scissors out, I might as well just chop them with the scissors. So, never mind, I put the scissors in the sink. Of course I did. Okay. So with the ham, we just want it a bit more chopped up than it is. So the ham is going to give it that pork flavour that we want. I just think that if we could have got the gammon's not cooked at all, so basically it's pure and it would take on all the flavours, whereas the ham is just still going to take on all the flavours. So don't worry too much about it, it'll do what it's going to do. But if anyone does cook this and you get your hands on the gammon instead of the ham, leave a comment, let me know how you went. Okay, so that's all in. Okay, dry hands. Come on, go away. Go. Get rid of that. Okay, now there was another thing I couldn't get, which was a spice called mace. I've seen it used. I've never used it. I don't own it, so I'm leaving the pinch of mace out. Alright, just give that a stir through. Okay. So we want half a cup of flour, plain flour. Just sprinkle that in. We probably want a bigger bowl, so my jug was a bad idea. We need 1 beaten egg. And that goes. A bit of salt and pepper. Now 1 teaspoon of sage. I've got the sage leaves. I thought I had a different one. Sorry, I'm wrong. Yeah, sage leaves grounded. I think this is going to be a bit stronger. But then again, I haven't got the pinch of mace, so I'm just going to do the 1 teaspoon. If it's really sagey, I'll know why. Because I think, obviously, the ground is a lot more. You know what, I'll just do the 1/2 teaspoon. Pinch of mace, I don't have. 1 teaspoon of marjoram. This one's a leaf. I'm happy enough to use the correct amount with a leaf. Just think when it's ground up like that, you got more of a flavour. No, lids never want to come off, do they? Okay. In that goes. And finally, 1 tablespoon of chopped parsley. Now, 1 tablespoon is naturally going to be fresh leaves. If you do not have fresh, it's 1 teaspoon of dried. These are technically fresh. They've just been in the freezer for I don't know how long. So I'm just going to crumble these in. Alright, then we give this a really good stir into the fridge for an hour. And then this filling is good to use. So put some cling wrap over the top so it doesn't absorb every smell in the fridge. Okay. Make sure your flour's all stirred through. So right now I guess you could technically say it looks like stuffing. Probably. It is, in a way it is being stuffed into a pie crust, so yes, it is a stuffing. Alright, so I'll be back when we're ready to make that pastry. Okay, so what we're going to do, while we've still got about 20 minutes for the filling to be in the fridge colding or cooling, we are going to make the basic hot water crust. So to do this, we're actually doing this on a stove top, so grab yourself a biggish style size saucepan and we're going to grab some ingredients. So the reason why I'm going with one this large is because at the end of it we're adding 4.5 cups of flour. Now 4.5 cups of flour is about half of one of those, just under anyway, so that's why we're doing it that way. Okay, so we need 150 mils of water. Use cold water so that way everything's all at the same temperature. 150 mils is just a bit below 2/3 of a cup. Okay. Then what we need is we need a pinch of salt. Just use the one that I'm going to crack in here. That's a big pinch. Okay, and we're going to weigh out 75 grams of margarine. Grab a spoon for this one. No, I'm not organised. Okay, there we go. If I was organised, I would have been up last night doing this. Or I should have done some and then had a nap. But anyway, it is what it is. Yeah. 75 grams is a lot when you're trying to weigh it out. I did use margarine in the pastry for the quiche last week and it gave it a, I guess maybe a bit more of a yellowy colour, if that makes much sense at all. It wasn't that, but that whitey coloured pastry. Oh, the very quiche that's about to go in the freezer tonight too, by the way, into pieces. So 75 grams in that pot. Okay, that's in. Now, lard. So lard is what is used for, it's for the fats for when you're doing your pastry. So we also need 75 grams of this one. I just keep this one in the freezer because there's times when I'll use it a lot, times when I'll never need it again. So I think with this particular book, because I'm making so many different pastries, I am using it more. Just a little bit. And another gram, which is probably about that much there. Okay, that's close enough. Alright, in goes that. Okay, put this over on the stove top. We want to melt all of this and bring it to the boil. So let's go. Okay, so we've got our water, our lard, which is the white, and our margarine, which is the yellow. So we're just going to bring this to the boil. Might not look very nice, but it is what it is. You can cut the lard up smaller if you want, or you can just do what I did, be lazy and just leave it as it is. It's going to melt no matter what. Okay, so while this is going on, I'm going to weigh out, or should I say measure out, 4.5 cups of flour. Okay, once everything's all melted, grab that 4.5 cups of flour and add it and stir it. So what I've done is I've put the 1/2 cup in first. It does seem a lot, I know, but this is the pastry. This is what gives it that really rich sort of pastry. Alright. This is why I said to use the bigger one. As you can see, it's coming together. Now, eventually, I'm getting ahead a little bit, we are adding an egg to this, so don't be stressing about how it looks like it's so dry. Just keep stirring. Make sure you take it off the heat too, because we actually don't need to cook this anymore now. We're needing it to start and cool down. When you can actually see no small bits of flour, and when you're stirring it you'll understand what I mean by small bits of flour. That is flour that is on its own still. Okay, oh, that's a good arm workout. Alright, transfer it to a mixing bowl and then stir in your beaten egg. Now, the reason why you're transferring it to a mixing bowl is so that it can cool quicker. So, grab a mixing bowl and we'll be back. Mix the egg in and keep going. Okay, so I rolled a base out, then I rolled the walls out. Just wet it with some water. Get that filling out of the fridge and get ready to put it in. Okay, so I forgot to brush it with egg and it has cooked for 1 hour 45. But it's come out pretty good. So now we're just going to make aspic, which we're going to put into it. So 150 mils of hot stock. I'm using chicken stock powder. Give that a good mix. One tablespoon of sherry. 1 tablespoon sherry. 2 tablespoons of gelatin. Mix it in. Allow that stock to cool just a little bit, but not set. We're going to put a hole in it and we're going to tip it in. Okay, so the jelly's cooled slightly, so carefully into the hole. Possibly the best way to maybe go about this, small suggestion, if I can find my funnel, is to do exactly that, because this way we're going to get a bit of precision going on here. So go like this into the funnel very slowly, because what it will do is it will seep to where it's going to go. Just take your time with it. I'm just hoping that it will go disperse itself, so possibly put another hole in it on the other side as well. Yep, don't do it that way. Yeah, I don't want the jelly over the top. Not a good idea. I think I'll keep going with the original hole on the other side, because at least that way, that side, it does seep away. There isn't really another hole. Maybe try and make one in the middle. Try and make one in the middle there. This is a very random thing to be doing, but I think by using the funnel, we're actually going to hopefully get it to where we need it. I was just having a conversation about this pie today. This is apparently something that we used to get around Christmas time. So it's quite interesting to try and make my own, but I don't know how this jelly is going to set because I've still got quite a bit to go in. And I can actually see it coming out the bottom as well, which is possibly a worry. Okay, I'm just going to try and tip more down there. Oh, hopefully it'll go where it needs to go, right? Okay, now this is going to go into the freezer. Remove from the oven and cool for several hours. No, I did not do that. I'm just going to put this in the freezer for a while. I was supposed to let it cool before I put that in, so my bad. Okay, I'm going to go and put this in the freezer for 20 minutes and then hopefully it'll be ready to go.